apologize if there's trucks where you can't really hear us, but I think that we should be good to go. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you very much for having me. Excited. Yeah, sorry for the noise, but I guess since this is real estate related, we should say that we are right across the street from the new Meyer going in. So heavy construction, right? A lot of cool new commercial stuff happening.
Definitely.
But thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
No problem. And before we get into the real meat of the show, before we dig in, I really want to say thank you to Ellie Platt for sponsoring Realty. So for all of your insurance needs, whether it be personal, commercial, financial, or Platt Insurance, definitely has your covered. So thank you so much, and we're going to go ahead and get started with the show. So yeah, I always like to start the show with some icebreakers.
Okay.
So we're gonna have
and some iced coffee.
And some iced coffee. Did I say we're at Branch Street?
I don't think you did.
Yeah, we are.
I think we should definitely tell them we're at Branch Street.
And the coffee is great, so I highly recommend. This is actually my first time here today.
That's
so.
crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just worried because now they have these. There's no straws. They have these like strawless lids.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have to go 30 minutes? This is about to be 30 minutes or so. I have to go 30 minutes without spilling this all over myself. So that's actually what's making me the most nervous about this interview. So I'm gonna drink this and spill it all over my shirt.
It'll make for good TV, right?
True.
But yeah, so I definitely want to kick off by starting to talk about Burgan Real Estate.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about your background.
How I got started
Yeah.
at Burgan Real Estate. Okay. Well, the running joke in the family is I've been in real estate for 33 years, right? Because obviously, growing up in the business, it was constantly, hey, we got to stop at this house and take a picture, or we got to put a sign up, or I got to put this lockbox here. So, I grew up in the business, and I remember very early on that I wanted absolutely nothing to do with real estate. In fact, I think because I was surrounded by it, I hated it so much. And, I tried to do everything but real estate. It was really funny. When I was 18, I was away at college, and this was 2005. So, very interesting market then. My dad calls me, tells me there's an opportunity for a house to purchase at Boardman. And I had saved up some money from a couple odd things. And so I actually ended up purchasing this house, rehabbing it, reselling it, made a profit, and that's when the bug bit. And so 18, I flipped my, I don't like saying flip, that's kind of like the F word in this business. I rehabbed my first house, and became obsessed, and literally walked into my academic advisor like after closing, and I was like, yeah, I know what I'm going to do the rest of my life, so how do I get out of here in like the shortest amount of time? So that's how I got into real estate. Now I can't picture myself doing anything else.
No, that's definitely a great story. Yeah, definitely. And I also, obviously, did some research before, and I have found that Burgan Real Estate is actually the Huntington Valley's largest locally owned operated real estate company. So that is great to hear.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we've had a really great run, 43 years. We've seen every type of market. We were here when the steel mills closed, here through the 18, 19% interest rates, 9/11, 2007, so we've seen a lot of different markets, and we weathered all the storms, and still here.
Great.
Am I allowed to swear? Can I swear? Okay, I swear a lot, so you're gonna have to really edit that.
Yeah. But obviously, this wouldn't be the realty if you didn't talk about the rent estate. So share some of your insights. What have you been seeing?
Well, it's definitely a seller's market. That is undoubtedly the case. Sellers are holding all the cards right now. So good for them. They're seeing a lot of multiple offers. We're starting to see a great deal of escalation addendums. Hadn't seen those in a while, and now it's almost the norm to have escalation addendums. We are starting to see some issues with appraisals coming in, which I find interesting, obviously, because the demand is there, but that's a whole nother topic. Buyers, it's definitely a hard market to throw your hat in the ring, but you can't beat these interest rates. I mean, it's ridiculously low. So if you are on the fence thinking about buying, now's the time. If interest rates even tick up a little bit, your buying power significantly goes down. So it's the best time to buy. It's just a matter of if you can find a house to buy.
Yeah.
So real crazy market right now. Really fun market. I guess depending on what side of the coin you're on.
Yeah, definitely. I'm also like obviously and I'm just personally just wondering, since the market's so hot and things are selling so quick, for people that are wanting to sell but don't really have any prospective homes to buy, what is some of your advice for them? Obviously they don't want to be homeless, but what are some ways that real estate agents can deal with that?
We're seeing a lot of, there's a section in the MLS that has brokers firms. We're seeing a lot of these contingent upon, seller finding suitable housing. That's the case no matter what the market is, right? If the seller, if their house is on the market, obviously there's some motivation there for them to sell, right? They're not just testing the waters. So hopefully we're going to see some inventory pick up here. Obviously, new construction costs are still very high, but very doable. There's some great neighborhoods going up around the area. So, there's always options, for everybody. Always options. Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear. Anything else you want to talk about the market that you think our viewers should know? Whether they're wanting to buy or sell?
Buy or sell. I would just say for buyers, obviously, because it's so competitive. I mean, you gotta, if you're newly in the market of buying, you gotta let go of the previous thoughts of, oh, well, this is the price per square foot, and this is what this house sold for 8 months ago. 8 months ago, 3 months ago, it was a totally different market. I mean, we were shut down 3 months ago.
Yeah.
So it's really even hard to draw on that, and you really should make your best offer your first offer. And more often than not, someone else is going to be interested in this house. So make your best offer your first offer. Have your pre-approval ready. Make the cleanest, simplest offer that you can, that you feel comfortable with. That would be my advice to buyers. For sellers, make sure you're ready to move.
Yeah.
If you have a saleable home, make sure you're ready to get out of Dodge. Now, the only thing is we're starting to see sellers that are seeing these prices climb, and so now we're starting to see some people that are reaching a little bit, thinking, they're trying to skate to the puck, which usually is a good thing to do. But the market's going to tell you what your house is worth.
Yeah.
So ask a fair value. Make sure your house is ready to sell. There's a big difference between how you live in a house and how you sell a house. So your realtor's probably going to give you some advice to declutter and things like that. So just make sure you're putting your best foot forward to attract the most buyers, and just be ready to sell.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Obviously, on behalf of a lot of different sellers, what is maybe the number one thing for sellers to do to prepare to replace them?
Ooh. That's an interesting question. Every situation is very unique. Everyone is coming from a different situation, whether they're moving across town or across the country. Conditions are different. I always tell sellers, they control the price, condition, and the terms. I control the exposure. Right? So they need to control the condition of which their home, how it looks, how it feels. They're ultimately going to set the price, and they're ultimately going to have the terms of whether they're going to allow showings at 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and things like that. So it's really one-off. And it's the same as our marketing strategy for each house. Each house has a different buyer. So the marketing strategy is a little different for each house. So it's the same with the seller.
What is your marketing strategy?
My marketing strategy?
Yeah.
Better with Burgan.
There you go.
Like I said, every strategy is different for every house. We're fortunate at Burgan Real Estate. We have what's called consumer insights,
Okay.
powered by leading real estate companies of the world. And that actually gives us some proprietary, that was a good word, information on consumer behavior. So it allows us to use that information to dial in certain key words that we need to use in our description, or maybe highlight certain features of a home, or maybe that home needs to be placed in a certain place ad-wise. So we're very lucky, and I'm only speaking from Burgan Real Estate's point of view. We have a lot of different tools that we can, really market any property. That's right, you got it. Yep, absolutely.
All right, I'm going to ask a random question.
Okay.
Obviously, you have a lot of expertise, and you've been in the business for, yes, you do. You've been in the business for a while. Have you ever had a favorite sale?
Favorite sale? Oh my God.
I'll let you think about it for a second, but I was talking with my homie Ryan earlier, and I just feel like you always remember your first one, or you have a favorite one.
That is the weirdest thing. I can never figure out how my dad's 70-some years old. He's been in the business forever. We'd be driving around, and he'll drive by a house and say, "Oh, I sold that house for X amount of dollars in August of 1981." You're like, "How do you remember that?" And all of a sudden, you start doing it, right? Yeah. You drive by a house, and I remember that, and the family did this.
Yeah.
It's hard to say your favorite sale. I think probably. I have two recent examples actually that I guess tug on my heartstrings.
Okay.
Recently helped a couple sell their house, and they're purchasing a house. And the house they were selling, I just saw their post yesterday on Facebook, and it was 4 generations of their family in that home.
Okay.
And their grandfather built the house, and to see that. Sometimes we get a little numb to it, because sometimes at the end of the day, selling houses is like selling coffee, right? It's just what we do. So sometimes to see that, all of my sales are my favorite sales. But when you see something like that, it was just yesterday, they were leaving this house, their kid was walking around, waving to their rooms and stuff like that. So to see this fourth generation family leave, finally step out of that property and spread their wings a little bit. That was really exciting to see. I help a lot of my friends, high school, college. I have a big friend list, I think. Probably a bigger enemy list, I don't know. But I'm right now helping a friend from high school, and it's just so cool to see. They're in this house, newly married with no kids. And now to see them, they got 3 little ones running around, and to be a part of that, knowing this person from so long ago, now seeing them, in this world, in this professional setting, and then getting them into the house that they're going to make their forever memories. It's really, I guess, touching. You could say, I'm not one to be a sap, but.
It's emotional. Yeah.
It is emotional, and that's why I'd probably say there's like some element to that of every sale. So I guess, I know it's probably cliche, but I'd probably say all my sales are my favorite.
Yeah, there you go. And especially since, buying a home or buying your first home is one of the largest investments you're ever going to make. And it's heartwarming to know that you helped someone do that.
Right,
so
absolutely.
It's very rewarding.
Well, and kind of tie into that, just piggybacking, I'm sure you're going to ask me questions about being president of the association.
Yeah.
But I think that's why it's so important for our industry to kind of increase the professionalism, the ethics of it. I jokingly, I don't want to get political here. I'm not saying what side I'm on, this is just a joke. But so I jokingly have my platform when I was president was make Realtors great again. Okay? Don't hold it against me. It was just fun, I guess. But when you talk about someone making the biggest investment of their life, you should be professional. You should know what you're doing. I think so many times, maybe in the past, a lot of people treated this as a hobby, and when you sit back and realize that you're changing someone's life, not only personally for their family, but also financially, you got to take that with some serious weight.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So obviously, since like I said, busy and you're always working. What is one of the weirdest encounters you've ever had on the job?
Ooh. Well, I probably can't say some of them. There's been some very inappropriate experiences on the job. Showing up to a showing before with a gentleman sleeping in his underwear on the couch, forgetting that there was a showing. Yeah, that was good. Had another situation. You see, that's. I'm trying to really dance around some of these experiences because a lot of them I probably should have reported to the police. But that's one of the beautiful things about real estate, and I think why so many people get involved, is that it's something new every single day. I've only been doing this for 14 years now, and I can honestly say every single day I learn something new when I see something, and that's what it keeps you sharp. So I think that's probably where I'll leave that.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, that's a way to skirt around the actual question, but so transitioning into talking about commercial real estate.
Okay.
This October, the Business Journal, we're actually doing a feature on commercial real estate. I don't know if you did it or not, but I wanted to talk about your partnership that you have with Burgan and really just shed light on how that is different from Burgan Real Estate residential side, and just tell our audience a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. They're two totally. The only thing that's really shared there is the Burgan name. I'm one of the brokers of the Burgan Friedkin, but they are two entirely separate entities. Burgan Real Estate focuses 100% of our efforts on residential real estate, and the Burgan Friedkin is 100% commercial. And I think that's important to make clear, only because there are a few residential brokerages that I feel try to dabble in the commercial world, and I really think you're doing the customer a disservice. If your expertise and your experience is in residential, to start getting involved with cap rates and sprinkling the building, and you're outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Even I'm out of my comfort zone. So I think it's really important, as we started seeing more and more demand for commercial, I didn't want to become a residential brokerage that pretended to be commercial. So I think finding and growing a relationship with Alan Friedkin, that's where the conversation started, and it's been really exciting getting that off the ground.
Yeah, great to hear. And obviously we talked about the residential and real estate market and how it's hot right now. What are you seeing in the commercial real estate market? Seeing different?
Well, unfortunately, we are seeing some people that are interested in selling their businesses. I should say fortunately and unfortunately, because obviously, there's good in that. We do business valuations at Burgan Friedkin. So we're seeing people selling their businesses, their practices, some restaurants that have decided after a lifetime of service, are hanging their hands. So, commercial is interesting only because, not only, but it's not as cyclical as residential, right? In residential, we're so bogged down with how the weather is and what the holiday is. But commercial is a different animal with, you're looking at numbers and return on investments, and right now, money is cheap. And so we're seeing a lot of great opportunity in the commercial world.
Good, that's good to hear, and definitely it's good to know the difference between the different markets and how it's affecting the whole ecosystem. So
right.
Definitely.
Yep.
And then I want to lastly segue into YCAR.
Okay.
So you are the president of YCAR.
Yep.
And I just wanted to talk to you
The
about
sucker born every day. No, I'm kidding.
And
I keep forgetting this is live, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, I keep forgetting you can't edit that.
It's okay. They'll be in the bloopers at the end.
Okay.
But I wanted to talk about some of your responsibilities and some of the things you do as president of YCAR. I had Julie Larson on a couple weeks ago, the CEO of YCAR, and she gave us a lot of insights about the whole thing. So what are some things you do?
coming from an investment committee meeting before this. That was a Zoom meeting. Essentially, as the president, I have to serve on all the different committees. So there's the investment committee where we manage the association's funds for the building, for operations. There's RPAC, which is the Realtor Political Action Committee. There's YPN, the Young Professional Network. You know, essentially, I'm a servant to the members, and so hopefully, you know, my goal this year was to, you know, help Realtor members the best way that I can, move the association forward, you know, kind of bridge the gap between the public and our association. So, I don't know, it's probably hard to describe what I do as president, but it's been an interesting year. Yeah. Most rewarding moment. Okay. Well, I would have to say, I think this year in general has been very rewarding to me. You know, obviously, you know, I've served on the board, and then you get nominated to go through the chairs. So you start as treasurer, president-elect, now president. So I've been involved for some time now. This year's been very rewarding, not only with the group of people that I'm surrounded by, but we've been able to get very creative, right? So this year, obviously, we're doing a lot of things virtual, and in a business that, you know, always seems to be lagging a little bit, right? Real estate, most people probably assume is very old school, and it still is for the most part. So it's been very rewarding to see the association and realtors as a whole kind of adapting and evolving, you know, to this new way of life. Probably the number one thing that I'd say I'm most proud of, we were able to reduce the dues for our members, kind of as our relief package for this year's economic uncertainty. And we've actually increased our membership this year. So we actually have over, yeah, thank you. Well, I should say thank you to my board and everybody. They're the ones that really, you know, I'm just a pretty face. They're the ones that do all the heavy lifting. I just do these interviews. Right? No, but I think we have over 600 members now. So in a year that you think there'd be all this turmoil and uncertainty, we've actually grown our membership, reduced our dues, and really have evolved into something pretty unique.
Everything else you have to share with us. So before we end the show today, I definitely want to give another big family plan of Pride Insurance, sponsor of the Realty. And do you have anything else to share with the audience before we end the show?
You know, I'm just glad I got through. As I say that, I'm wiping it off my knee. But I'm just glad that I got through. I think this entire interview without spilling this coffee all over me. That's what I'm excited about.
Mine's hot, so mine's hot.
You don't want to spill it.
Thank you again to Green Street for letting us sit up here today.
Now, you should have had this like stern.
I know.
You gotta support local.
We got some product placement here,
Very
but
good.
I think we're going to go to the show today, so.
Fantastic.
Thanks for joining us, Pat.
Thank you.